I'm Dave Forrest, and thank you for purchasing Loxley. I think you're going to find this an extremely versatile method that can be used in a number of different ways. And you're also going to find that the main effect here, the card that predicted number with the blank deck, is a real powerhouse effect. For lay people, they struggle to understand the three key points. All right, how you knew the position of the card, how you knew which card it would be, and then the fact that all the rest of the deck is blank. Well, it's like I say, a powerhouse effect, and the reactions are well, they're as you would expect, really. The reason being, I think, is because it's such a hands-off method. You know, you don't appear to do anything, and it all appears to be under their control, and it works out, you know, just as you predicted. And the nice thing is, if you choose to use it with the mobile phone, you text them the image, and then they can have that image on their mobile phone, and that's a good way to go these days. I think it adds something, certainly, when you can use the technology of today. But of course, you're not limited to that. There are photographs and stuff. You can print all that stuff off of this DVD by browsing it on your computer. If you go on there, you'll find that you can print the prop out. And of course, you're handing out your details as well, because what I tend to do is put my details on the image just at the top and the bottom. So it works as a prediction, and of course they've got your web address and your phone number and so on and so forth. So a great little marketing tool tacked onto the end of a really nice effect. I do hope you like it. This is Loxley.
Hello and welcome to 452.com.
There you go. Advertising you just can't buy. Put it up here, 452.com. Florence here is going to help us. She's going to have a look at my new trick, which is called Loxley. And before we get started, I need to mention that we're going to use my phone. And there's a picture on here now. Ordinarily we would use your phone, but
I'm only 7, so I don't have a mobile phone.
She's only 7, so she doesn't have a mobile phone, which is right, I think. But if you were older and you had a phone, then I would have sent you this message and it would be on your phone. But for now, we'll just have to pretend. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, so we'll leave that there for now. And what's on the phone is a picture, and it's a prediction, you might say, of the future, of what I think might happen in the future. All right, and we're going to use these cards. So I'm going to show you what the cards are now. I'll take them out of the box. There's a joker there. We'll definitely need that a bit later on. Now here are the cards. Now Florence, do you know the order of these cards right now? Do you know?
I do not know anything about them.
She doesn't know anything about them, about the order. But here's the important point. It wouldn't matter even if you did know the order, because the way we're going to select this card is completely random, and it wouldn't help you to know the order. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you take that joker in just 1 second and push it face up into the pack. Now I'll tell you, whichever card ends up above the joker will be the chosen card. So there's no wordplay. I'm not going to interpret one card next to it or anything like that. Whichever card ends up above the joker will be your card, and then after that we're going to have you cut the cards, mix up the deck, so we change the position of the joker as well. Is that fair? Very good. So take the joker and push it face up somewhere inside the pack. Very well done. So in it goes, and we'll push it right in. Now, do you know which card lies above your joker right now?
No.
You couldn't know. You couldn't know because you didn't know the order. And you see that even if you did know the order, it would still be pretty hard to tell which card it had went in directly underneath. Fair? But here's the thing. Perhaps at this point I might think, well, I sort of know where the joker went, because we sort of saw roughly where it went in the pack. So what we're going to do is have you cut the cards like this. That changes the order of every single card each time you cut, and then there would be no way to know the joker's position. So you can do that now. Just give it a number of cuts. Very good. Excellent stuff. Oh, that's superb. A number of cuts. Very well done. Okay, so that was excellent. I love that card handling action. I think for such small hands, the future looks bright. So, so here we go. You don't know which card is above your joker, fair?
Yes, I think that is fair.
That is fair. And also, you don't know where the joker is now, right? Because you've moved it all around inside the pack. Is that fair?
Yes, I think that is absolutely fair.
Very good. Okay, let's find out where your joker ended up, shall we?
But remember, I don't have a phone. This is Dave's phone.
Yeah. So let's see where that joker ended up. It's got to be in here somewhere. There it is, right there. Now, you can see that that is the joker, and that's exactly where it ended up. Fair? Okay. Now shall we take a look at the text message? See what it says. Other way. Alright. Okay, and yeah, unlock it now. And it's this one here. So, can you tell us all, first of all, what the card is?
It's the Jack of Clubs, and it's the 16th card.
That's exactly right. It is the Jack of Clubs. And my prediction is that the Joker would have went below the Jack of Clubs, 16 cards down. Let's find out. Here we go, look. Counting 1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
16th card down. Now, is it the Jack of Clubs? Let's find out. Bang. Jack of Clubs, 16 cards down. Incredible, I think you would agree. But here's the thing, Flo. Helta, thank you. Here's the thing. If you think about it, you know, you'll have a think about it later and think, wait a minute, he never ever showed me the face of any of the cards. So perhaps, you know, they're all the Jack of Clubs. But they're not.
They can't be.
No. I'll show you what makes it even more impressive. Look. There's actually no cards at all. See?
They're all blank.
They're all blank. All the cards are blank. Every single one except for the Jack of Clubs, which you somehow managed to find with that Joker exactly 16 cards down. A miracle. Am I right? Okay, so here is what you have received. This is a blank-backed Joker, okay, and it has a little bit of sticky tape in the middle of the Joker there, and this is a really old principle, but basically that bit of tape is going to cause this Joker to vanish, and of course they don't realise it has a blank back, and so it's going to meld in with all the rest of the deck and take care of where they actually place the Joker. That card immediately goes out of play as soon as it's pushed into the pack, as you'll see in a bit. So your Joker will have a little bit of backing tape, protective backing. You just peel that off, dull the tape down a little bit with your thumb, and you are good to go. The other thing you have received is a roughed pair of cards. It will be the Jack of Clubs or a court card. And a regular Joker. These are both roughed on the face so that when they go together they function as a single card. Alright, so that's what that is, and that is of course how the Joker appears underneath the Jack, but also how it appears that there is no Joker in the pack to begin with, and you can really be quite fair in your displays. So this one's going to disappear, this one's going to come into play, and of course that'll be right above your prediction card, right beneath your prediction card. Alright, as well as these two things, you have received a complete blank deck of cards. Alright, completely blank on all the faces. You do have to prepare these cards a little bit, so I'll talk about that now. The first thing that you need to do is take one of your blank cards and give it a breather crimp. Now what you can do, if you're familiar with the idea, is you can short the card and riffle up the back and locate it because it's short, or you could glue two cards together and make a thick card. You basically need to be able to locate one of these cards. I choose a breather crimp for the simple reason that about 50% of the time your spectator will automatically cut back to this breather card for you, and I find that that happens more often with a breather than it does with a thick card or a short card. So let's talk about the breather crimp. Now you're going to do this to one of the blanks, and this one has been breather crimped. I've got this other card here, this random ace, just a spare card. Now I've drawn this X on there, and that shows you exactly where the work is put into the card. If you're not familiar with breather crimps, you're about to learn something that's really useful. So here is the card. Now I want this card to cut back to the top. All right, so I need to put the work into the face, and what I'm doing is I'm using these fingers here, these two fingers of my thumb, and I'm pressing, and what that's going to do is bend the card essentially. I'm going to start in the centre and move out towards the edge, just pulling like this. Now don't be afraid to sort of put a decent crease in it, because by the time it's been in the deck for a while, it's going to flatten back out to some extent, but it'll always still cut back to the top. I mean, you can put a breather crimp. I've left them in decks for months and months, come back to them, and you cut straight to them every single time. It's a fantastic technique. So we're just going along these lines of this X, working from the centre out, creating channels along where you see this X. And what that's done is sort of made the card sort of, it's hard to describe, but it's almost like it has a belly of sorts now. And this is actually why it's called a breather crimp, because when it cuts back to the top, you can often visibly see it pop up like this as though it's breathing. So that's a useless fact, but I share it nonetheless. So once you've breather crimped it, what you also, well, you don't need to do this, but I do it because I like to be double safe, is I mark this little white dot in the centre. I fill that in this case, in the case of the red deck, with a red marker. You can use a black pen for a blue deck or whatever. You just need to mark it, because while you can sort of spot a breather crimped card, I just like to be doubly sure, so I mark it on the back as well. Okay, so with that card, this has been done already. This is breather crimped and marked on the back. Now I also think it's a good idea that you mark the back of the ruffed Jack of Clubs, or whichever court card you've received. Alright, so this is your pair, and here is the Jack, and it's here. And what I've done here is I've taken that same red marker and I've made little red marks in both corners, so I can see this card in a spread. Again, this stuff is not 100% necessary, but I say why not do it, right? It takes a couple of minutes, and it's for absolute safety. It's well worth doing. Alright, so the Jack of Clubs has marks in the upper left and the lower right corners. Okay, if you're left-handed, you put them in these two corners. Finally, and again, not essential, but I do it anyway, I've also pencil marked the blank backed joker. Just a little pencil dot. I've just made a circular motion while pressing the tip of a pencil in the corner in both, again, the bottom right and the upper left hand corners, and you'll see, and that's just to help with reset. Really, it serves no other purpose but to make it easier to reset the deck. So in addition to this, you may want to put this, you're going to have to get the image on your phone, and you're going to have to print it out and put it inside an envelope, your prediction image. And I've also supplied you with a blank image, one where the post-it note doesn't say 16th, it says nothing. And if you have a Photoshop or any sort of photo editing software, you can go in there, put your own messages on, and put your own. I'll show you just briefly what mine has. So here is mine. I don't know how well you can see it on camera. It's Jack of Clubs 16, so the 16th card will be the Jack of Clubs. And you can see here that I've added my web address at the top, and there's a discount code there at the bottom. for potential customers. This is specifically, I've made this for Blackpool, okay, because I'm going to be demoing it a lot, and this is going to appear on potential customers' phones. So you should really think about it the same way. In regards to your potential customers and clients, and put your contact details on there, and of course photo printing is relatively cheap. There's a 4x6 included on the DVD. If you take that to any supermarket, certainly Asda, Tesco, all them here, you can get really cheap for like 25 pence or something per print. And again, you could have your details on those photographs and give them away, or whatever. But as well as it being a really, really strong prediction trick, I think it would be a shame to miss a solid marketing opportunity as well. So let's move on now, and we'll talk about the setup and the handling. Okay, so here is how you set up for Loxley. I have my blank deck here, and on top of it is the crimped card with a breather crimp, and there's a little mark on its back. That card is on top. Now, this setup assumes that you're predicting the card at the number 16. It should be abundantly clear, if it's not, it soon will be, that you can force any number at all in the pack, but for now we're assuming 16. And if you do want to force other numbers, there's a blank version of the photograph on this disc. If you put it in your computer, and you can digitally put any number that you like in there with a little bit of photo editing. All right, so what we're going to do is set up for the number 16 though. Okay, so it's Jack of clubs, it's 16th. Here is my marked and crimped card. I'm going to take 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 cards. Then I'm going to put this ruffed pair. Here's my Jack of clubs, and it's got a mark. It's marked here and here, and as a pair, I'm treating these two cards as a unit. They become the 16th card in the pack. And then of course you have a joker with some sticky on it, and I generally just leave that on top of the pack and place the whole lot inside the case. Alright, so that's how you set up to, and of course you have your prediction on your phone, which you can text, or you can print the photographs off. Again, they're on this disc, and put them in an envelope and carry them in your wallet or whatever. To perform, you're going to first send them the message or hand them the envelope with the photograph inside, and say, okay, so it's a prediction of the future, and we're going to use this deck of cards here. And then I bring them out and I say, we're going to use this joker in just a second. And I say, and now you can shuffle these cards. I never do it, but you absolutely can. You can simply shuffle underneath your stock of cards that are on top, or you can jog shuffle, whatever it is that you think is necessary. I generally don't bother. What I do is just spread them out like this, and they can clearly see every single card, and there are obviously no other jokers in there. Alright, the joker's actually hiding under this card here. I can see my mark. This is the double, and that's going to come into play later. Now what you tell them is they're going to place this joker anywhere, and it's well worth pointing out to them that there's no wordplay. Make sure they know whichever card is above the joker, wherever they push it, that will be the chosen card. Okay. Now here's one slight problem, and here's how I overcome it. If they want to push this card near the top, it's going to go in the top 16 cards, and while it's not an enormous problem, I would rather it didn't happen. And what I would definitely don't want them doing is inadvertently pushing it in between my ruffed pair. Okay, so what I do is I say, you're going to push it in there, you're going to put it anywhere you like, and then afterwards we're going to have you cut the pack, and you can mix the cards up. And all I do there is I just cut less than 15 cards to the bottom. It doesn't even matter how many. If I now look, there's my mark, and my ruffed pair is here. It's now third from the top. But the cyclical nature means it's still the required number away from my breather crimp card, so everything is going to work out fine. The reason I do this is it's very unlikely that someone is going to want to push this joker right up near the top, and like I say, I don't want them inadvertently pushing it in between my ruffed pair, and ideally I don't want it above my card either, so that cut helps to sort of do two things. It helps to ensure that this joker goes in a desired position, and it also allows them to see a bit of casual handling. You know, you can cut the deck, there's clearly no order, fine. So they're going to push that joker, they're going to take it and they're going to push it wherever they like inside the pack, and I always ask them, do you want to change your mind? You can absolutely change your mind, because this card is currently this card, right? But you can move it and put it above this one, it's up to you. They often don't want to change their mind. Square it in, and I just give a little press in the middle, and the sticky tape has now adhered. And now you tell them that while they don't know which card is above it, we sort of know roughly where in the pack it is. Okay, and maybe I could sort of suggest to them where they should put it or something like that. So now I'm going to give them the deck and instruct them to cut it, and I'm going to show them first how to cut the pack, especially if there's no table. Alright, so you just want to show them, just cut like this. And what I'm telling them here is that every time you cut, you change the position of every card, and they can keep cutting. And I also mention that should they inadvertently cut that joker back to the top, not to worry about it, just to cut it back in, because there is a slight chance, and it's very slight, that they will cut directly in between your ruffed pair. If that happens, it's not a problem, they simply cut it back into the pack. Okay, now what you're going to find a lot of the time, as is what happened when I when I performed it with Florence, funnily enough, is she cut the breather crimp right back to the top during her cutting. This happens a lot. You'll be really pleased to hear. Often you're looking for that little mark, and when you see it on top, they've inadvertently cut your stack back into position. So now your ruffed pair is back in 16th position, and that's great. If that doesn't happen, you simply take back the deck and you say, alright, so no one knows the position because of all the cutting of the cards and what, and I simply give them one casual cut at the breather crimp and put it back on top. And I've never had anyone question it, because they put the joker in, they've mixed it up, one cut of the pack by me makes no difference. And as long as you, I mean, the worst thing to do here, in case you're thinking about it, is to make a deal out of it and to start trying to get them to cut to the breather crimp or you know, or to try some sort of cross-cut force thing. Don't worry about it, just cut the crimp back to the top. Here's the other thing. At this point, I'm saying, have you got your phone? You've got your phone and you know there's a message, or just check that message has arrived. And it's a tiny bit of misdirection as they remember. Believe me when I say no one remembers or cares about one single cut of the pack on your part. The bottom line is, whether they cut it back to the top or you do it, your breather crimp has got to come back. So you've got to see this mark on top of the pack. You say, well, I don't know where it ended up. Have you got any idea where the joker is or what card it's above? Neither do I. Let's find out. I know where it is. I know where the one I'm going to show them is. It's the 16th card down. So again, it's marked so I can see, and I split just as you would for an invisible deck. It's just a ruffed pair. I can both see it and you can feel it because it's a rough pair. So you shouldn't have any problem. And make sure you make a point of showing them all the other. See there, that is the double there. The joker is actually stuck here. Alright, that's where it went. It's stuck out of sight there, and you can show them all the other cards. Lay people at this point, and magicians, I'm sure, on a number of occasions, they're pretty convinced. I mean, lay people are 100% convinced that that's the joker they pushed into the pack. Now, what I'm going to do is say, well, there it is there, that's where it ended up, and that's completely random and fair, yes, and they've got to agree with that because it really looks like it is. And it's at this point that I have them get the prediction out. So I'll quickly do that here. And they're going to open their text message and they're going to find, I don't know how well you see it on camera there, but it is the picture that you've been supplied with. 16th card, the Jack of Clubs. So, if we now count down in the pack, we're going to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The 16th card, it's exactly where you pushed it. Amazing. Is it the Jack of Clubs? Bang. Now, this is a big effect for lay people. So I generally let this sit for a minute. And I don't know that anyone's ever said it out loud, but I think it's occurred to some people, to some spectators before, that all those cards are the Jack of Clubs. No one's ever said it, but I sort of, in my mind, I think that that some of them have thought it. And it's good to say, well, you know, later on when you think about this trick, you might think, well, wait a minute, I never saw any of the faces. Maybe they're all the jack of clubs. And I say, but they're not, because you could have pushed it in between. You could have pushed it right above this six of spades. And what I'm doing here is I'm up jogging the double. That's the glued joker, the six of spades. And I put it to the face of the pack. This is just to help me reset. I've not showed them the faces yet. I'm going through. I'm going to say you could have pushed it underneath the nine of diamonds or the three of clubs. And I'm miscalling cards, and then I say, and I didn't do it in the performance with Florence because it just wasn't important. But this is what I would do for real people and say, at least I could have done if those cards were in the deck. In fact, if any of the cards were in the deck, and then I start to show them. Now, again, I will point out, you don't need to do this. You can just turn over and start showing them all blank. The reason I do it is it's good theatrically, but it also allows me to put this double to the face, so I don't need to go searching for it when I reset. And again, that's why I've used my little pencil dots, so I can easily see it, miscall it, move it to the face, and so on. I think you get what I'm saying. So these are all blank. These over here, these are all blank. Don't put these two piles together, because this will again help with reset. So these are all blank, and that is the end of the trick. A full blank deck. They push the joker right above where it is. They've got your information and the prediction on their phone or in an envelope, and a really, really puzzling effect for lay people. I hope you agree. Now let's talk about reset. You'll be pleased to hear it's very, very easy. I've already moved my joker to the face here, so I take these cards, turn them face down, put my ruffed pair back together and put those on top. Because I didn't combine these, this is still 16 cards, and the first card dealt is my breather crimp. So scoop those up, pop them back on top, and take unstick the double pair at the face, move the joker to the top, and slot it back inside the case. It's not really reset, you just sort of pick up the cards and put them back in the box, and you are ready to go again and again, you know, and do the trick as many times as you like. So that is Loxley.